Welcome to Blazor. In this video, we will see Godzilla vs Kong crossover challenge. The rules are same as other challenge, but the Pokemon we use are Godzilla as Tyranitar, Kong as Darmanitan, Mothra as Volcarona, and Ghidorah as Hydreigon. Galvatuna will be skipped because two legendaries in our team. So let's move to the challenge. I randomized Larvitar in place of T-Peg so that Archeward should be our rival's Pokemon, and I named Larvitar as Godzilla as per this challenge. And here our first rival battle begins. We use Oshawott, Larvitar used Sandstorm, Oshawott used Tackle, Larvitar used Lair, Oshawott used Tail Whip, and finally Larvitar used 2 bites to finish Oshawott, and we won our first rival battle. And later moved towards Flossie Ranch for our second rival battle. Larvitar used Bite, Oshawott got flinched, Larvitar used Bite, and Oshawott got flinched again. Oshawott used Tail Whip, Larvitar used 2 bites to finish Oshawott and won the battle against rival. And later we moved towards Asperia City to face our first gym challenge against Charon. He used Patrat, Larvitar used Screech, Patrat used Work Up, Larvitar used Bite, and Patrat used Work Up again. Larvitar used Bite to finish Patrat, and later he used Lillipup. Lillipup used Work Up, Larvitar used Screech, Lillipup used Work Up again, Larvitar used Bite, and Lillipup used Bite on Larvitar. Larvitar got Survive and used Bite to finish Lillipup, and we got our first gym batch against Charon. And moved towards Wilbank City to face our second gym battle against Roxy. She used Coughing, Larvitar used Sandstorm and Bite, but she used Super Potion on Coughing. Larvitar used couple of bites to defeat Coughing, and later she used Whirlipede. Whirlipede used Process, Larvitar used Bite. Larvitar used Bite, but Whirlipede used Protect. Larvitar used Bite to finish Whirlipede and won the second gym battle against Roxy. Later we moved towards Castelia City to face our third gym battle. Before facing the third gym, it's time to introduce second character, Kong. So I captured Dramuka at Route 4 and named it as King Kong. Later moved towards third gym to face Birch. He used Slowdown. Dramuka used Fire Fang to defeat Slowdown. Later he used Tibble. I quickly switched to Larvitar. Larvitar used Rock Slide, but he used Hyper Potion on Dibble. And Larvitar used 2 Rock Slide to defeat Dibble, and later he used Livani, and I switched to Dramuka. Dramuka used Fire Fang to defeat Livani and won the third gym battle against Birch. Later I moved towards Nimbasa City for the fourth gym battle against Elisa. She used Emolga, Larvitar used Rock Slide, but she used Hyper Potion on Emolga. Larvitar used Rock Slide to defeat Emolga. Later she used Fluffy. Larvitar used Dig to defeat Fluffy, and later she used Zebstrika. Larvitar used Dig to defeat Zebstrika and won the fourth gym battle against Elisa. Meanwhile, Larvitar evolved into Pupitar, and it's time to face our next gym battle against Clay. But eventually, I lost with Clay, so I decided to train in Wild Area and evolved Dramuka into Darmanitan because due to Excadrill, and I rebattled Clay. He used Krokorok. Darmanitan used Fire Punch to defeat Krokorok, and later he used Excadrill. Darmanitan used Fire Punch to defeat Excadrill and used Sunslash. Darmanitan used 2 Fire Punch to defeat Sunslash and won the fifth gym battle against Clay. Later I went to Relic Passage to capture our third character, that is Mothra. I captured Volcarona and I named it as Mothra. Later I moved towards Motutor to teach Signal Beam to Volcarona. Later I went to Celestial Tower in Miss Ralton City and collected Lucky Egg from Professor, and it's time to battle next gym against Skylar. She used Sobat. Sobat used Earthstorm, but Pupitar used Rock Slide to defeat Sobat, and later she sent us Swana. Swana used Bubble Beam to defeat Sobat, so I switched to Volcarona. Volcarona used Fire Spin and Gust, but Swana used Feather Dance. Volcarona used Gust, Swana used Air Slash, and Volcarona used Gust, but Swana used Air Slash to defeat Volcarona. Later I switched to Darmanitan. Darmanitan used Rock Tomb to defeat Swana, and later she used Kamori. Darmanitan used Fire Punch but she used Hyper Potion on Skamori. Darmanitan used Fire Punch, and Darmanitan used Fire Punch again to defeat Skamori and won the 6th gym battle against Skylo. And it's time for our third rival battle. He used Unfrozen. Unfrozen used Taunt, but Pupitar used Rockslide to defeat Unfrozen. Later he used Semisage, and I quickly switched to Volcarona. But Semisage used Heat Bomb. Volcarona used Signal Beam to defeat Semisage. Later he used Samurott. Volcarona used Signal Beam to defeat Samurott and won third rival battle. Later, I trained in Wild Area to evolve Pupitar into Tyranitar that with Godzilla and moved towards our next gym battle against Draden. He used Dradigon. Volcarona used Signal Beam. Dradigon used Crunch. Volcarona used Signal Beam to defeat Dradigon. Later he used Flygon. Volcarona used Signal Beam, but Flygon used Rock Slide to defeat Volcarona. And I switched to Darmanitan. Darmanitan used Fire Punch, but he used Hyper Potion on Flygon. Flygon used Earth Power. Darmanitan used Hammer Arm, but Flygon used Earth Power to defeat Darmanitan. And I switched to Tyranitar. Flygon used Earth Power. Tyranitar used Crunch to defeat Flygon. Later he used Axorus. Axorus used Dragon Dance. Tyranitar used Earthquake, and Axorus used Dragon Dance again. And Tyranitar used Earthquake to defeat Axorus and won the gym battle against Draden. Later his team of Plasma arrived in Opilute City, and time to battle Team Plasma Senzolin. He used Craigonal. Darmanitar used Fire Punch to defeat Craigonal, and he used Craigonal. Darmanitar used Fire Punch to defeat Craigonal again, and he used Weavile. Weavile used Nice Sledge. Darmanitan used Fire Punch to defeat Weavile and defeated Zinzolin. Later I moved towards Umelius City from Marine Tomb. Meanwhile it is Hyper Beam to Tyranitar because it mimics Godzilla's atomic breath, and after teaching it, it's time for next gym battle against Marlon. He used Keracosta. Darmanitan used Rock Tomb. Keracosta used Cell Smash. Darmanitan used Hammer Arm to defeat Keracosta. Later he used Wailord. Darmanitan used Fire Blitz, but Wailord used Scald to defeat Darmanitan, and I switched to Volcarona. Volcarona used Signal Beam to defeat Wailord, and later he used Jellicent. Volcarona used Psychic, but Jellicent used Scald. Volcarona used Fire Spin, but Jellicent avoided the attack and used Brine to defeat Volcarona. Later I switched to Tyranitar. Tyranitar used Bite to defeat Jellicent and won the gym battle against Merlin. Later I went to Giant Sasam to fight Team Plasma, first Zinzolin. He used Craigonal. Craigonal used Ice Beam, and Tyranitar used Rock Slide to defeat Craigonal. Later he used Weavile. Weavile used Metal Claw, but Tyranitar used Rock Slide to defeat Weavile. Later he used Craigonal. Craigonal used Rise Screen, but Tyranitar used Rock Slide to defeat Craigonal and defeated Zinzolin. Next is Carlos. He used Magneton. Darmanitan used Fire Punch. Magneton used Thunder Wave. Darmanitan used Fire Punch, but he used Full Restore on Magneton, and Darmanitan used Fire Punch to defeat Magneton. Later he used Magnezone. Darmanitan used Fire Punch, but Magnezone used Thunder Wave and used Discharge. Darmanitan used Fire Punch to defeat Magnezone. Next is Metang. Metang is Rock Slide. Darmanitan is paralyzed, so I switched to Volcarona. Metang used Zen Headbutt. Volcarona used Signal Beam, and Metang used Agility. Volcarona used Signal Beam to defeat Metang. Later he used Klinklang. Volcarona used Fire Spin. Klinklang used Shift Gear, and it used Giga Impact. Volcarona used Fire Spin to defeat Klinklang. Later he used Behemoth. Volcarona used Signal Beam to defeat Behemoth and won the battle. And later I moved towards Giant Chasm Cave to battle Croim. Croim used Dragon Breath. Tyranitar used Rock Slide to defeat Croim and won the battle. Later it's time to battle the Team Plasma Head Genesis. He used Crophagigus. Tyranitar used Crunch to defeat Crophagigus. Later he used Sesame Toad. Tyranitar used Earthquake. Sesame Toad used Earthquake. Tyranitar used Earthquake, but he used Full Restore on Sesame Toad. Tyranitar used Earthquake to defeat Sesame Toad. Later he used Toxicroak. Tyranitar used Earthquake to defeat Toxicroak. Later he used Drapion. Drapion used Earthquake to defeat Tyranitar. And I switched to Darmanitan. Darmanitan used Fire Blaze to defeat Drapion. Later he used Hydreigon. Darmanitan used Hammer Arm to defeat Hydreigon. Later he used Electros. Darmanitar used Fire Blaze to defeat Electros and defeated Team Rocket Boss Genesis. Later I moved towards Victory Road and it's time to capture our next character, Ghidorah. So I captured Zwellius and named it as Ghidorah, and it's time for our final level battle against her. He used Unpleasant. Darmanitar used Fire Punch to defeat Unpleasant. Later he used Buffalon. Darmanitar used Fire Blitz to defeat Buffalon. Later he used Samurott. Darmanitan used Hammer Arm, but Samurott used Surf to defeat Darmanitan. Later I switched to Volcarona. Volcarona used Signal Beam, but used Max Potion on Samurott, and Volcarona used Signal Beam to defeat Samurott. Later he used Semi-Sage. Volcarona used Heat Wave to defeat Semi-Sage and defeated Zard and collected Thunderbolt. Later I trained in Wild Area and evolved Zwillius into Hydreigon, and I teach Charge Beam to Hydreigon because it cannot learn Thunderbolt and Thunder. Later I went to Moon Tutor and teach Dragon Pulse to Tyranitar because it's mimic Nuclear Pulse. It's just a fictional move, and it's time to face Pokemon League. In Pokemon League, first I battled Chantal. She used Crophagigus. Tyranitar used Crunch to defeat Crophagigus. Later she used Golrock. Tyranitar used Crunch to defeat Golrock as well. Later she used Chandelure. Tyranitar used Earthquake to defeat Chandelure. Later she used Drifloon. Tyranitar used Crunch to defeat Drifloon and defeated Elite Four Chantal. And next is Elite Four Grimsley. He used Liepard. Liepard used Fake Out. Volcarona used Signal Beam to defeat Liepard. Later he used Crafty. Volcarona used Signal Beam. Crafty used Rock Tomb, but it failed. Volcarona used Signal Beam to defeat Crafty. Later he used Crocodile. Volcarona used Signal Beam to defeat Crocodile. Later he used Bishop. Volcarona used Heat Wave, but it failed. Bishop used Aerial Ace. Volcarona used Heat Wave to defeat Bishop and defeated Elite Four Grimsley. Next is Elite Four Catling. She used Mushana. Hydreigon used Dragon Pulse. Mushana used Yawn, and I quickly switched to Tyranitar. Mushana used Charge Beam to Tyranitar, and Tyranitar used Crunch to defeat Mushana. Later she used Reniculus. Tyranitar used Crunch to defeat Reniculus. Later she used Sigilyph. Tyranitar used Stone Edge to defeat Sigilyph. Later she used Gonthaline. Tyranitar used Crunch to defeat Gonthaline and finally defeated Elite Four Kathleen. Next is Elite Four Marshall. He used Throw. Darmanitan used Fire Blaze to defeat Throw. Later he used Conqueror. Darmanitan used Fire Blaze to defeat Conqueror as well. Later he used Swag, and I quickly switched to Tyranitar. Swag used Rock Slide, but Tyranitar used Earthquake to defeat Swag as well. Later he used Meshaw, and I switched to Volcarona, but Meshaw used High Jump Kick, and Volcarona used Psychic to defeat Meshaw and defeated Elite Four Marshall. Next is Champion Iris. Champion Iris used Hydreigon. Darmanitan used Hammerum to defeat Hydreigon. Later she used Agron. Darmanitan used Hammerum to defeat Agron as well. Later she used Axorus. Axorus used Dragon Dance. Darmanitan used Fire Blades. But Axorus used Earthquake to defeat Darmanitan. And I switched to Volcarona. Axorus used Dragon Dance. Volcarona used Signal Beam to defeat Axorus. Later she used Radigon. Volcarona is Signal Beam, but Radigon is Rock Slide to defeat Volcarona. And I switched to Hydreigon. Hydreigon used Dragon Pulse to defeat Radigon. Later she used Lapras. Hydreigon used Charge Beam. Lapras used Ice Beam. And Lapras used Ice Beam again to defeat Hydreigon. And I switched to Tyranitar. Tyranitar used Stone Edge to defeat Lapras. Later she used Archeops. Tyranitar used Stone Edge to defeat Archeops as well and defeated Champion Iris. And finally defeated Crossover Challenge by King Kong as Darmanitan, Godzilla as Tyranitar, Mothra as Volcarona and Ghidorah as Hydreigon.